Thank you very much for having me here. My humble obeisances to all the devotees in the Delhi NCR. We have so many devotees from Ghaziabad here and also Lucknow, east of Kailash, Gurgaon, and east and I don't know where else. So my humble obeisances to all the devotees from all the temples here. Thank you very much for being here. And today I have been asked by the coordinators to speak on the qualities of a sadhaka. Yes, it's a very important topic. Uh, all of us are doing sadhana bhakti. And while doing sadhana bhakti, what are the most favorable qualities that a sadhaka must imbibe? Uh, we need to know. And where else can we know them better other than Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Puran, spotless Puran. And as the 12th canto Bhagavatam says, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yadvaishnavana Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyamekam Amalam Gnanam Param Giyate Tatra Gnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyamaviskritam Tat Srinvan Supathan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyennaraha. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Puran, spotless Puran, because it doesn't speak about any mundane topics. Even the four Purusharthas like Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha also are kept aside, in fact kicked out right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo. So Bhagavatam talks on the level of Panchama Purushartha. Panchama Purushartha is the fifth goal of human life, which is Krishna Prema. Attaining love of God is the ultimate aim of the presentation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now to attain that Krishna Prema, which is the ultimate goal, sadhya, we need to perform sadhana. And what is the sadhana that a sadhaka is supposed to adopt to attain the ultimate sadhya of Krishna Prema? So Bhagavatam describes this very systematically, especially in the second chapter of the first canto. There is a series of shlokas that describe different stages of bhakti: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, all the way up to Prema. While the second chapter describes various stages of bhakti, the fifth chapter presents those stages as a part of describing Narada Muni's past life. So, just describing the stages of bhakti will give us the technical information of it. But when you describe an example, is there a sadhaka who went through all the stages of Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya and reached the level of Prema? Yes, there is a sadhaka. That was Narada Muni in his past life as the son of a maid servant. So while the second chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto, describes these 9 stages of bhakti, the fifth chapter of Bhagavatam describes the life of Narada Muni in his past birth and how he progressed through these 9 stages of bhakti. So for him to progress through the 9 stages of bhakti, from Shraddha all the way up to Prema, what were the qualities that he exhibited? Right? What were the prerequisites? What kind of demeanor, what kind of conduct, what kind of character, what kind of qualities did he exhibit to receive blessings and instruction and direction from Guru and then pass through the stages of bhakti? Right? We are not discussing the stages of bhakti today. That's not the topic given to me. We are not discussing Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So to go through this process of Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, what kind of qualities should a sadhaka have? That's our subject matter today. So let's learn from Narada Muni himself. In his past life, he was a Gandharva named Upabarhana. He was invited by some Prajapatis in the upper planets for a great Sankirtan festival where they were worshipping the Lord. So he went there because he was a Gandharva. He looked very handsome. He was also surrounded by so many women and he dressed himself nicely and accompanied by all these women. He went to the Sankirtan festival There and in front of Prajapatis, he behaved very inappropriately. He sang some mundane materialistic songs, although the occasion is to celebrate the glories of the Lord. So the Prajapatis became very angry with Upabarhana and cursed him. May you fall down from Gandharva Loka, may you fall to the earth, Bhuloka, and may you take birth in a very low family, like a Shudra. Uh, they cursed him like that. So Upabarhana became the son of a maid servant in the earthly planet. And that maid servant, she used to work in a Gurukul in some area. She would just do some work and somehow earn her livelihood and maintain her little son. So during the monsoon season, once some great sages called the Bhaktivedanta sages came to that area and they decided to stay there 4 months of monsoon season in that place only, near in that Gurukul, so that they can do their spiritual activities. They can give a pause to their travels. So that gave an opportunity to this maid servant and the maid servant's son to render some service to the Bhaktivedanta sages. So these Bhaktivedanta sages, they are very exalted in their devotion, in their Vedic knowledge, in their detachment, in their absorption in their bhakti. So they were doing their bhakti, and this maid servant was serving them. And also, uh, this maid servant's son, little boy, at the time he was 5 year old, basically Upabarhana, who took the form of the son of this maid servant. So he was also serving these great sages. Mm. And whenever they need some flowers for their worship, he would go and bring. Maybe he would collect some leaves and other puja paraphernalia. And sometimes he would even ask them if he can take their remnants. They will take prasad, and some prasad is left. And with their permission, he would eat that prasad, this little 5 year old boy. And also, this boy would sit next to them when they are discussing the pastimes of Krishna. So they are sitting together and discussing some spiritual subject matters. They were having some shastric discussion. They were discussing the glories of the Lord. And this little 5 year old child will sit next to them and then he would hear very attentively. Thus, hearing from the Bhaktivedanta sages, associating with them on a regular basis, increased his detachment and devotion. Right? And thus he passed through all the stages of bhakti. And Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, he went to Prema. So, and these Bhaktivedanta sages, they were very merciful to this boy, extremely merciful. Why? What qualities in this boy attracted the Bhaktivedanta sages that they even initiated him in bhakti before leaving? They allowed him to do all services, they allowed him to sit in their discussions, they allowed him to associate with them. So, what were the qualities of this child, 5 year old child? Sometimes, when 5 year old kids come, when you're having a serious shastric discussion, they may disturb, or they may do some mischief, or they may make some noise. Very innocent children. So, you may prefer to have a more serious discussion with mature devotees and keep the children little away, or even if they are there, you may not entertain them so much. You don't give so much of attention to them. You focus on what you're supposed to discuss, because they're very innocent. They may not be able to understand what you are discussing. But these people, these Bhaktivedanta sages, they give a lot of attention to this 5 year old child. They gave mercy. They allowed him to serve him and associate with them. And what qualities in this boy attracted the sages? Let's discuss. This is the 24th sloka of the 5th chapter of the first canto Bhagavatam. This describes the qualities of this boy as a sadhaka. We are discussing the qualities of sadhaka today, and this boy is a sadhaka who passed through all the stages of bhakti, right from Shraddha, Bhajana Kriya, all this up to Prema in the association of Bhakti Vedantas. So, what were the qualities that he exhibited before going through this progression in bhakti? ते मय्यपेताखिलचापलेर्भके दान्ते धृ दान्ते धृतक्रीडनकेनुवर्तिनि चक्रुः कृपां यद्यपि तुल्यदर्शनाः शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणी. Te Maya Apeta Akhila Chapaler Bhake. So generally, this arbhakas means this little children, they are very chapala. Chapala means very chanchal, very mm, fickle-minded, or they are restless, right? So te mai apeta akhila chapaler bhake. Apeta akhila chapala means this fickle-mindedness. So this boy, he has absolutely no fickle-mindedness, right? They are not at all. This boy is not at all distracted or restless. He is very sober, very gentle person, and these sages are very merciful by nature. Let's see their nature also. They are Tulya Darshanaha. Tulya Darshana, this green line, green word refers to the sages who are very equipoised towards everyone. They're impartial, they're merciful towards everyone. So they saw in this little child four good qualities. One thing we already discussed, he's not fickle minded, but let's discuss more uh, specifically. First quality of the sadhaka exhibited by this boy is Dante. This is number one. What is Dante? Dante means self control, right? So we need self control to practice bhakti. First quality of a sadhaka described in the shloka is having self control. Self control includes sense control and mind control. Dante is sense control, Shama, Dama, we say, right? So one is self control, one is sense control, one is mind control. Senses are the visible senses outside, eyes, nose, etc. Then second is mind control. We need to control the mind. Although you may control your eyes from seeing unnecessary visuals, although you may control your ears from hearing unnecessary sounds, materialistic gossip, mundane songs, although you may control your tongue from tasting all kinds of tasty delicacies which are not offered to Krishna. One may control the senses, but the mind may meditate on those sense objects. So one has to control the mind also. Here Dante is sense control, but let's expand this and say that the first quality is self-control. That includes mind control and sense control. So we need to control our senses to perform bhakti. We need to control our mind to perform bhakti. Sense control is generally uh, like facilitated when we are living in an ashram. Now, most of you or all of you are living in nice ashrams surrounded by so many devotees. So their sense control is kind of facilitated. Of course, still we can go out of control. When some feast comes, we may overeat, so we may lose sense control. But that's once in a while. On some festival days, one may eat little more. Mahaprabhu also used to feed devotees on special occasions 5 times more than what they can eat, right? So that's like occasional. But point is, when we are associated with devotees who are all practicing sense control, it becomes easy for us to control our senses. But when we are surrounded by devotees or surrounded by common people whose senses are highly uncontrolled, there we have to exhibit so much of determination to control our senses. So, first quality is self control, and that self control or sense control is facilitated by association of devotees around us. So, in the first quality, there is one more thing embedded. What is that? Association of devotees. The first quality required by a devotee, sadhaka, is an inclination to always be with devotees, an inclination to always be surrounded by devotees and not be alone. Of course, you may need some space. You want to read, you may just go alone in some corner and then without any disturbance you may read. I'm not talking about that kind of uh, seclusion. I'm talking about another kind of seclusion where our dormant desires are invoked. Sometimes when we are in seclusion, when we are alone, when we are not associating with others, the material mind may provoke us to meditate on some material desires. But when we are surrounded by 10 other devotees, in their presence, naturally mind cannot think on those non-devotional desires, right? So because the ambience doesn't suit that kind of thought process. So as much as humanly possible, we need to keep ourselves in the association of devotees. Then self-control is possible, mind control is possible. and sense control is possible. So the first quality of a sadhaka is dante, self-control. Second is adhrita kridanake. This boy is not at all attached to krida. Krida means sports. See, except Prahlad Maharaj in our universal history, maybe Dhruva Maharaj also, uh, all the children, they want to play. 5-year-old kids, what will they do? They want to play. The desire to play with other children or with toys is very much there in everyone, in all children especially. Now adults also play. They play on phone. They play video game like this. And there are some special phones. They say that this phone is very good for gaming, etc. So playing is very dear to a conditioned soul, a distracted conditioned soul, especially in childhood where people are very innocent and ignorant, that playing propensity is more. But this boy is adhrita kridanake. He is not at all inclined to play, right? He doesn't have uh, so much of attachment to sports, right? Adhrita kridanake. Now, how does it translate to in the context of a sadhaka? So now, as a sadhaka, we should be sober, not hyper. We should be mild, not wild. So when I say mild, basically we need to be little more composed, calm, gentle, and not become very fickle-minded and restless and just run around everywhere. That's the sporting propensity. Of course, sometimes a devotee may be little sportive and maybe very little playful and jovial. That's there. Being jovial and being little light-hearted is not incompatible with devotional service, but that being light-hearted does not mean frivolity, right? There's a difference between frivolity and being jovial. So when we cross the boundaries of being jovial or playful, uh, then we enter the zone of frivolity, which is not at all suitable for sadhana. So adhrita kridanake, he's not at all attached to sports and any frivolous games. So that quality helped him to receive instructions from the Bhaktivedanta sages. Then third quality is anuvartini. This is number 3. First is Dante, self-control. Second is Adhrita Kridanake, he is not attached to sports. Third is Anuvartini. Anuvartini means he is very submissive, very obedient. Anu means following, inclination to follow. Someone is called Anusar. So Anuvartini means he is very obedient. See, obedience or submissiveness is a very, very important quality for a sadhaka. First, we need to be submissive in front of our spiritual authorities. That's where spiritual education begins. That's where spiritual sadhana, spiritual training begins. Some Vaishnava is guiding you. Guru is guiding us. Siksha Gurus and Diksha Guru is guiding us. And many other senior Vaishnavas give guidance in our Shastric study, in our services, in our overall learning of etiquettes. So we need to be submissive in front of them. So that submission, that obedience is very favorable for advancing in bhakti. That's one of the most important qualities of a sadhaka, especially one who is in the renounced order. There are many brahmacharis here. So especially for brahmacharis, submissiveness to Guru in Guru's ashram is a non-negotiable quality. As Bhagavatam itself says, Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurorhitam. Brahmachari stays in a Gurukul, Guru's ashram, for Gurur Hitam, for the service of Guru. That's the whole purpose. So that's the third quality described here. Anuvartini. The last quality is Alpabhashini. Alpabhashini means speaking very less, being eloquent. Alpa means less, Bhashini means speaking. So he's not very talkative. Sometimes kids are very talkative, right? But this 5-year-old boy is not talkative at all. Similarly, for a sadhaka also, talking is not the problem. When you're talking about Krishna, that's great. You need to utilize your speech in glorifying Krishna. That's the right utility of tongue. Tathapi kirtayam yanga yatha mati yatha shrutam. Kirtim hareha swam satkartam giram anyabhidasatim. The process of making our tongue chaste is to utilize the tongue, utilize that ability to speak in glorifying Krishna. That kind of talking is very, very helpful for advancement in bhakti, right? We need to be talkative in that sense. We need to always talk about Krishna. But talking mundane subject matters, talking gossip, talking some useless topics, so that will corrupt our minds. So a sadhaka should carefully avoid unnecessary discussions. Alpabhashini means not being very talkative, being very composed and utilizing one's ability to speak only to speak something useful and purposeful and something which is beneficial, right? Charu chitra padam slakshnam mishtam godham aviklavam sarvesham upakarartham. So Prithu Maharaj's speech is described in various ways. There are 6 qualities of Prithu Maharaj's speech. When we come to fourth canto, we'll discuss all of that. But one quality is Sarvesham Upakarartham. How should our speech be? Sarvesham Upakarartham. It should be beneficial for everyone. And that everyone includes oneself also. So when I speak something, it should be useful to me. It should be useful to the devotees who are around me. Otherwise, better don't speak. What's the use of criticizing a devotee? Is that criticism useful to us? Is that criticism useful to other devotees? Yes, sometimes in a managerial meeting, when you have to mm, discuss about some issue, some undesirable happening, then you may have to talk about a mistake done by some devotee in the mode of helping the devotee, not in the mode of just finding fault uh, and criticizing the devotee, but just to help the devotee take an appropriate action to rectify the situation, to ensure that the service happens nicely. Uh, in that context, we may talk with that responsibility in a private forum where some responsible devotees are around. But unnecessarily gossiping about people, unnecessarily talking mundane, materialistic subject matters, that corrupts our mind. You want more reference? Go to the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Brahma says, Yanna vrajantyaghabido rachananuvada shrinvanti yanya vishaya kukatha matighnihi. Kukatha matighnihi. When we discuss unnecessary, materialistic, mundane subject matters of criticism and gossip and useless topics, that kukatha, that bad topics, materialistic topics, what do? Matighnihi, they corrupt the mind. They corrupt the mind, they distract the mind, they deviate the mind. So when we are speaking something, that speaking is accompanied by some contemplation. Before speaking something, we contemplate. And after speaking something, the contemplation continues. So you may speak for 5 minutes, some mundane topic, some toxic materialistic topic or criticism, you may speak only for 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes, Prabhu. 1 hour I gave Krishna Katha class, but 5 minutes I spoke some gossip or criticism of a devotee. But before that 5 minutes, maybe we must have meditated on that topic for 5 hours or 5 days. Who knows? And after speaking that 5 minutes of that gossip about some personality, then after that also mind meditates on the topic. So it's not about speaking a negative topic for 5 minutes. Your tongue may speak about it only for 5 minutes, but your mind meditates on that topic for 5 hours or 5 days or 5 lifetimes or and whatever. So any sound vibration that is entering our ears or any sound vibration that is coming out of our tongues is very closely connected to our mind. It can create a long lasting impression also. We may casually say something, but that speech will remain in our hearts for a long time. And if it is not an appropriate topic, we are just hosting that toxic and inappropriate topic or mundane subject matter, especially Vaishnava in our hearts for a long, long, long time, and that will affect us so much. That will distract us from bhakti, right? So before speaking and after speaking, mind dwells on a negative topic or positive topic. When you speak a positive topic, when you glorify Krishna, again, you may glorify Krishna for only 1 hour, but your mind must have meditated on it for 2 hours or 10 hours. Some devotees say, to give 1 hour class, I prepared for 3 hours. You see, they say that. So that means, like, you may give only 1 hour class, but you have meditated on it for 4 hours. And after the class also you may meditate on it. That those wonderful glories of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila may ring in your mind for next 4 days. So Just 1 hour speaking of Krishna Katha can occupy a lot of time of your life with those positive vibrations. So whether we are speaking good or bad, that will have an impact on our consciousness. That will mold our consciousness. So this boy is Alpa Bhashini. He spoke only when it is required to speak. He is very eloquent. He is not overly talkative. Whenever he talks something useful, right? These are the four qualities of a sadhaka that this boy exhibited. Narada Muni in his past life. Dante, self-control. Adhrita kridanake, no attachment to frivolous sports. Anuvartini, obedience or submissiveness. Alpa bhashani, not speaking any mundane subject matters, but utilizing one's power of speech only to glorify the Lord, only to discuss something useful, something positive, something spiritual, right? So these are the qualities. And because of these four qualities, we can discuss 10 other qualities, but I'm just restricting myself to present only few things in the limited time that we have. So we discussed one shloka that presented four qualities of a sadhaka based on Narada Muni's example. Now these Bhaktivedanta sages initiated him into bhakti. They trained him in bhakti, and he passed through all the stages of bhakti, right from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya, then all the way up to Prema, and he developed Prema also. And this 4 months of period is over, and the Bhaktivedanta sages continued their travels, and this boy continued to stay with his mother. Now something interesting happened. Not something interesting, something surprising has happened. So what is that? This boy's mother died because of a snake bite. That comes in the next chapter. Sorry, let me just go to the next chapter. So this boy's mother died because of a snake bite. See, she went to milk a cow in the evening time, and a snake came and bit her foot, and she died on the spot. And the only protector of this child, 5-year-old child, died now. And this boy has to just depend on his own self to to survive. So he started traveling everywhere. He was meditating on the Lord. He was following the process of meditation given by the sages. And one day during his travels, he became a little tired. He found a nice river. He drank some water. He took a bath. And then he went and sat under a tree and started meditating on the Lord. And he continued his meditation very intensely. And within his meditation, he found the beautiful form of the Lord. Dhyayatascharanam bhojam bhava nirjita chetasa outkanthya shrukalakshasya hridya sinmesha nirharihi. Means he started meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. Dhyayatah charanam bhojam bhava nirjita chetasaha. His entire chetana, his consciousness is completely overwhelmed by his bhava, his emotion for Krishna. Outkanthya ashrukalakshasya. With great eagerness, he is meditating on the Lord and his eyes were shedding tears. Hridya sinme shanair harihi. Gradually, Lord Hari appeared in his hridaya, in his heart, and he was able to take darshan of the Lord within his heart. And he became so enlivened, so happy. He was exhibiting all kinds of ecstatic symptoms of goosebumps and other things in his when he saw the Lord's form in his heart. But suddenly, that form of Lord Hari disappeared from his heart. He felt very disappointed. He felt so sad. I was seeing the Lord till now. Now I missed the darshan of the Lord. Oh Lord, where have you gone? I want to see you. I want to see you. He was praying for the mercy. Right? So one more quality, of course, not in this narration, but I just remembered. One more quality that a sadhaka requires is prayerful attitude. We need to act like a beggar. With a begging bowl, we should go in front of Krishna and beg for his mercy. Sri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare Trayasva Mam Keshavalokanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Like that, we need to pray to Krishna. Oh, Sri Krishna, Vishnu, Madhukaita Bhare, oh, Bhaktanukampin, Bhagavan Murare, Trayasva Mam, please protect me, please protect me. Trayasva Mam Keshavalokanatha, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So we need to pray. Now here is this boy. He started praying to the Lord. Oh Lord, please give me darshan again. He again closed his eyes and again meditated, following the same method that he followed before. But the Lord did not give him darshan. He followed the same process of meditation. The Lord gave him darshan once in his heart as Lord Hari. Second time he followed the same method, the Lord did not give him darshan. What does it mean? The Lord's giving darshan does not depend on your mechanical process. It also requires the Lord's sanction, right? So to get the mercy of the Lord or to achieve anything in this world, in spiritual life, we need two things: Krishi and Kripa. Krishi means our endeavor. Kripa means Krishna's mercy. We need to put Krishi from our side. We need to put so much of endeavor, effort, determined effort from our side. And that is not sufficient. We need Kripa. The Lord has to sanction. He has to approve, right? He has to grant his darshan. Without his granting, without his sanction, we can't get things. So he is putting some krishi. He is putting a lot of effort to see the Lord by following the process of meditation, but the Lord did not give him darshan. He became disappointed. Then the Lord appeared in front of. He did not appear. He started speaking to the boy. The boy could not see the Lord, but the boy could hear the Lord. Right? The Lord started speaking. He said, "My dear child, no more darshans for you in this lifetime." Why? What happened? Because you are not mature in your bhakti. Your material taints are not removed. How can that be possible? He is on the level of prema, right? He already exhibited all qualities of a sadhaka and he came to the level of prema. So how can there be any material taints or any shortcomings in him? He's on the level of prema. Then the Lord says, your prema is in infancy state. I want it to come to youthful state. For example, there is a sishu, a small child. He also has two legs, two hands, two eyes, nose, but he does not have a developed intelligence uh, to utilize those senses. The senses are not developed, the mind is not developed, the intelligence is not developed. For example, you give a 500 rupee note to an infant boy, small child, maybe 10 months old or 1 year old or 2 year old, you just give 500 rupee note. What will the child do? He will just crush the note and put in the mouth or throw it away. He will not get excited. But you give the same 100 rupee note to some, say, 25-year-old man, young man. He knows how to use it. He may use it for some good purpose or bad purpose, whatever. So he knows how to use it. He knows the value of that note. But this infant child does not know the value. So although all senses are there in this infant child, the senses are not developed yet. So the Lord also said that, my dear boy, you have prema, but that prema is in Shishu Avastha, not Yavana Avastha. Means your prema is in an infancy state. That prema has to be developed. You have to develop that prema, you have to work on it, you have to improve that prema. Then you come to a youthful state, then you will be able to see me whenever you want. And this boy understood where he is lacking, and then he exhibited some more qualities of sadhana. We saw some qualities, four qualities of this boy, right? Um, as a sadhaka. Now, after he got the darshan of the Lord in his heart, after this boy heard some instructions of the Lord, again he did sadhana. He exhibited some good qualities as a sadhaka. Let's see those qualities now in the next shloka. This is the 26th shloka of the 6th chapter, first canto. नामान्यनन्तस्य हतत्रपः पठन् गुह्याणि भद्राणि कृतानि च स्मरन् गां पर्यटं स्तुष्टमनागतस्पृह कालं प्रतीक्षन् विमदो विमत्सरः. So what's the sadhana that he was doing? Namani anantasya. Let me take another color. Namani anantasya. He is chanting the name of the infinite Lord Hari, unlimited Lord Hari. Hatatrapah pathan. And hatatrapaha means he was not hesitant. Sometimes we may become a little hesitant to chant the names of the Lord. Some people may feel that So a lot of public is there. They may feel a bit shy, they're a bit hesitant, they have some reservations. But this boy did not have any reservations, right? Hatatrapaha means no formalities of the material world. So this is one quality that we need. Let me just show the sloka. Yeah. Hatatrapaha is one quality. Sadhana is Namanantasya, means chanting the names of the Lord. Hmm? Hatatrabha is a quality that we need to exhibit as a sadhaka. Hatatrabha means not shamelessness. It's not about not having shame, it's about not having shy, not having any reservations, not being overly dependent on the external protocols of this material world, but under any circumstances, let us be inclined to chant, right? That is hatatrapaha. Second element of sadhana. Pathan guhyani bhadrani kritani chasmaran. He was also studying the guhyani, confidential, bhadrani, auspicious, kritani, past tense of the Lord. He is doing pathan also. Mhm. And using smaran also. Smaran means remembering the Lord. So he's chanting, he's reading, he's remembering, right? Hmm. Pathan may not be exactly reading also. Pathan can be reciting also. Right? Now you may ask a question. Where did he get the books to read? So Pathan is not just only studying, part. He can also recite. Right? So he's chanting, he is reciting, he is remembering the Lord. This is sadhana. But the qualities are hatatrapaha. And what else he's doing as a part of sadhana? Gam paryatan means he's traveling everywhere to different cities and villages. So, what is this purpose of traveling? The purpose of travel of a devotee is to enlighten common people if he's a preacher. But even if he's not preaching, when he's traveling everywhere, that shows that he's not attached to any place. He's not attached to any place. Okay, I'll stay here for some days, do my sadhana, then I'll go to another place so that I don't develop attachment to this place. Right? So that's what traveling shows. Their detachment and their determination to preach. Now, other qualities. Tushtamanaha, very important. This is what? Second quality. Actually, this is first quality. Hatatrapa is like a supportive quality, but very deep and important quality is tushtamana. Tushtamana means uh, being satisfied at heart. A sadhaka should have satisfaction at heart. If the mind is constantly meditating on unfulfilled desires or some hankerings or some other unnecessary thoughts and feelings and emotions and desires, you cannot be very happy. You cannot be satisfied. Without a satisfied heart, you cannot do your sadhana properly. Many times, when we are not grateful for what we have received, we become dissatisfied. Sometimes, even in renounced order, there is attachment to power, position, name, fame, prestige, uh, and uh, and a position in the hierarchy. And when we don't get it, we may become disappointed. Or some facilities. Of course, some facilities are required for the basic survival maintenance. That is fine. As long as it is necessity, it's fine. But some requirements are luxuries, not necessities. And when we don't get that luxuries, we become dissatisfied because there's a desire to experience some luxury, there's a dissatisfaction. Hmm. So this dissatisfaction doesn't allow us to focus on our sadhana. So we need to be satisfied to perform sadhana properly. Of course, there's a dissatisfaction in sadhana in the sense that however much sadhana you do, you are never satisfied with your sadhana. You want to do more and more. That kind of dissatisfaction is good. Uh, that is like no satiation. You have so much of interest. You are never settling down to a meager performance of sadhana. You want to do more sadhana, more seva, more swadhyaya. That dissatisfaction is great. But there is dissatisfaction for material reasons. Oh, in today's feast, everybody got gulab jamun. I came little late for the prasad and I didn't get gulab jamun. I missed it. So there is dissatisfaction for missing that. You got rice, dal, chapati, sabji, right? You have something to fill your belly, right? It's okay. Every day we are eating full meal. Today, if you eat little less, it's not a problem, right? But I gave a very simple and innocent example of being dissatisfied for not getting gulab jamun. But on a higher level, even as a sadhaka, even as a renounced, even a sadhaka and renounced order also may sometimes become dissatisfied for material reasons. They want name, fame, prestige, power, position, luxuries. So when that dissatisfaction of heart is there, we cannot focus on our sadhana. Be satisfied. See, Krishna knows what to give whom. Krishna fully understands what we deserve and he will arrange for it. So be happy, be grateful. Let's count our blessings instead of being constantly dissatisfied with, oh, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. So that's an important quality of a sadhaka. Then gataspraha, second quality, is gataspraha means absolutely no attachments, no material attachments. If you're attached to Krishna, that's great. If you're attached to Bhagavatam, that's great. But gataspraha means no attachments or no material desires. So when material desires are filled, are filling the heart, um, spraha is attachment or desire. So gata spraha means completely free from all material desires and material attachments. So when these desires and attachments are there in the heart, we cannot do sadhana properly. Right? So next quality of a sadhaka is kalam pratikshan. So pratiksha means waiting. Kalam pratiksha means he's waiting for the right time. The Lord gave him little darshan, but later he withdrew the darshan. Now this boy is waiting for the darshan. He's not demanding the Lord, hey, Lord, you told me that you will give darshan when I'm purified. I'm purified now sufficiently. There's a demand. There's a demanding propensity. So we can demand from ourselves a proper discipline and sadhana, but we cannot demand Krishna. Krishna, you have to reciprocate with my demand now only, or at this date only, at this time only. Kalam pratikshan, wait, have patience. Wait and have patience. That is the third quality. Fourth quality, vimada. Vimada means no pride. Sometimes when we do our services nicely, there's a pride in the heart. Sometimes when we uh, accomplish things nicely, then there is a lot of arrogance, achievement mentality. So vimada means we should not be proud. That's another quality. Pridelessness. We should have humility. Opposite of pride is humility. Then fifth is vimatsaraha, no envy. Say when others are achieving nicely and you didn't achieve much, then you may feel envious. So when you happen to perform better than other devotees, there may be pride in you. When other devotees are performing better than you, there may be envy in you. So this envy and pride must be avoided. So opposite of envy is appreciation. Appreciate other devotees who are doing great service. Appreciate them that they are serving better than you. Amazing, wonderful. Continue. You encourage them, appreciate them, right? And that will kill our envy. Similarly, when we happen to do service nicely, instead of being proud or arrogant, instead of looking down upon people who are not uh, performing like you, better you uh, give them a helping hand. And also remember that I could do this service only because of Krishna's grace, only because of Guru's blessings, only because of other Vaishnava's support, right? Otherwise, I could not have done this service. See, our service is happening only by the mercy and support and blessings of so many Vaishnavas and the Supreme Lord Himself, and Guru is there to bless us. So we need to learn to pass on the credit of all our accomplishments to the Parampara and Krishna and Vaishnavas. That's a very important quality for a sadhaka. Today I got an opportunity to perform sadhana because of the mercy of devotees. Right? So opportunity to perform sadhana, ability to perform sadhana, and success in sadhana all depend on Vaishnava's blessings. Where is the possibility of we thinking ourselves as doers and becoming proud about it? Be dependent on Vaishnava's grace. That is Vimado. Then Vimatsara we discussed. So these are some qualities of a sadhaka. So no hesitation in services, no hesitation in chanting, no reservations, and be satisfied and be freed from all material attachments and wait with patience Don't demand, then no envy, no pride. These are various qualities. Then, because he exhibited all these qualities as a sadhaka, after he left his body in the next life, he became Narada Muni. So now I'll conclude the session with one more quality. Not one set of qualities. So as a sadhaka is doing his sadhana sincerely, sometimes there are some distractions or deviations or slips and falls. So how should a sadhaka handle that? So we can understand this from Ajamil episode in the sixth canto Bhagavatam. From first canto, we'll jump to the sixth canto now. In the sixth canto, we saw Ajamil. Everybody knows about his story. Ajamil is a nice Brahmana, but what to do? He became little distracted by uh, association with a prostitute, and because of that, he lost all his Brahmanical culture. He gave up his chaste wife. He gave up his parents. He did not serve them, and he got addicted to so many bad habits. And even at the age of 88, he had a small toddler son. But fortunately, he named that son as Narayana. And one day, when he was lying on his bed, 88-year-old man, some Yamadutas came to take him to hell. Then he started calling his son, Narayana, 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 come here, come here. So whenever you're in anxiety, you generally remember the person whom you love the most. He loved his youngest son the most, so he called Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. But his son is not Narayana. But the name Narayana is non-different from the Lord Narayana. So when he said Narayana, his son Narayana did not respond, Lord Narayana responded. And Lord Narayana had sent four of his dutas, Vishnu dutas, to save Ajamil from the Yamadutas. We know this. So after Ajamil was saved from this Yamadutas, and he got some inspiration and understanding of the glories of the holy name of the Lord from the Vishnu dutas, Ajamil regretted. Right? Yes, in Ajamil's life, there was a distraction, there was a detour, and there's a break in his sadhana. Uh, and finally, Ajamil understood his mistake. Similarly, in our sadhana, whenever we do some mistake, there is a distraction in the thought. Of course, Ajamil is a very high level distraction. But in our sadhana life on a day to day, daily basis, we may get distracted from the right consciousness. We may get disturbed by some thoughts or unnecessary emotions. We may commit some offenses. We may make some mistakes. But whenever we make some mistakes, we should not mm, we should not become overly depressed or disappointed or discouraged, but we should sincerely regret for that mistake and rectify that mistake and take a resolution. Resolve, let me not do this again. Let me improve myself. With the determination, we can overcome that mistakes, but with the depression, we cannot overcome. So instead of feeling disappointed or discouraged or demotivated or distressed or depressed, better have some determination in bhakti to come out of it. Because we are in Kali Yuga, distractions are normal, uh, but let's ensure that those distractions or mistakes or offenses that we commit should not dampen our enthusiasm in bhakti. To overcome that offenses or distractions, we need to take shelter of bhakti more sincerely, more vigorously, right? So, however fallen one may be, there is a hope if one takes shelter of Krishna, isn't it? Uh, However fallen one may be, Krishna is there. We may have a haunting past, but we have a bright future, you see. See, in the materialistic world, somebody may be very successful, somebody may be very accomplished. Mm. But if they are not practicing bhakti, if they are adharmic, if they are doing all kinds of nonsensical things for sense gratification, if they are not having any papa bhiti or fear of sinful reaction, but if they are just lavishly, luxuriously, and recklessly using their wealth and money or fame they have to enjoy nicely. Currently, they may appear happy, they may appear very bright, but their future is dark because of what they're doing now. But now a sadhaka may be doing a lot of austerities, maybe taking up a lot of inconvenience upon oneself while doing sadhana or seva. Currently, and also sometimes getting depressed and distracted, and becoming little anxious about, oh my God, I'm supposed not supposed to do this, I did this, or I'm supposed to do this, I did not do this in as a part of my sadhana. There is some kind of anxiety, a lot of stress there. But now currently his situation may seem very anxious and dark, but because he's taking anxiety for Krishna, for sadhana, his future is bright. For a conditioned soul, materialistic person, their present may be bright, but future will be dark. But for a sadhaka, sometimes the present may appear dark, but the future is definitely bright. Recently, I heard from a nice devotee friend uh, a quote from His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj, it seems. So the quote is, जीवन हमारा बिगड़ा है but रक्षक हमारा तगड़ा है. I don't know, my Hindi is not proper. I am not a proper Hindi speaker, but I think you got the meaning. Our life may be spoiled because of our distractions, but when we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, because He is very powerful, He can bring us out of all kinds of fallen states. So now Ajamil, after having realized his mistake, he took shelter of the Lord. He went to Haridwar and he performed bhakti very sincerely. And he took some resolutions. Let's read those resolutions. I opened the shloka for you, 6.2.35. Soham tatha yatishyami yata chittendriyanilah yathana bhuya atmanam andhe tamasi majjaye. I am such a sinful person. But since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, life, and senses and always engage in devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness and ignorance of material life. Ajamil got deviated from his dharmic uh, life because of the association with that prostitute. He understood it. Yes, many years went in that. But later he realized that what I have done is a mistake, and now he's very determined in taking resolutions. Now I will not go back to sinful life. I got another opportunity, second chance. Sometimes people may think that, oh, Ajamil did so many mistakes, so many sins. He said Narayana, he went to Vaikuntha at the end of life. But the reality is he did not go to Vaikuntha immediately. He was given a second chance. Only a second chance was given to him. Prabhupada wrote a full book on second chance. That's what Ajamil is also saying. That I got another opportunity. Since I have gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind and senses. So sometimes we may get distracted or deviated. We may commit offenses or mistakes, aparadhas or anarthas we may have, and we may get little, we may fall, we may slip. But Krishna gives us mercifully a second chance. One more opportunity. Not one more, 10 more, 100 more, 1,000 more he has been giving since lifetimes, right? So when we get one more opportunity, we should be honest enough and humble enough to accept that opportunity, utilize that opportunity, and now control the senses. Now control the mind. Earlier we must not have control, but now let's do it. Let's engage in bhakti. Let's not again fall into deep darkness of ignorance of material life. Further, he says, Vimuchyatam imam bandham avidya kamakarmajam sarvabhuta suhrutshanto maitraha karuna atmavan mochaye grastam yoshin mayatma mayaya vikridito yayaivaham krida mriga ivadhamaha. He said, because of identifying oneself with the body, one is subjected to desires for sense gratification. Bodily identification leads to sense gratification. And thus, one engages in many types of pious and impious activities. Some people want sense gratification through punya karmas, and some people want sense gratification through papa karmas. Whether they do pap, sin, or punya, piety, aim is sense gratification only. Right? So that's what Ajamil is saying. That is what constitutes material bondage. Whether it is papa or punya, both will bind us to this material world. Whether you are attached to enjoyment through papa or punya, definitely both will entangle us in material bondage. Now he says, now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage, which has been caused by the Lord's Maya in the form of that lady prostitute. He's not blaming the prostitute, he's blaming his own mind, which thought that he will get some enjoyment in that association of that prostitute. We may be distracted by phone, we may be distracted by internet, we may be distracted by some billboard on the street, or we may be distracted by some social media figures, followers, views, likes. Problem is not there, not these objects. Don't blame social media. Don't blame internet. Don't blame the phone. Don't blame the technology. Don't blame the billboard. Problem is within us. Why did we get attached to them? It says it is because of social media I got distracted. Social media is the villain. Social media is not the villain. There are many devotees who are utilizing social media nicely to spread something positive, something Krishna conscious, right? They are utilizing the platform very nicely to spread Harikatha, Tavakathamritam, Tapta Jivanam. They're educating people. Spiritual education is happening through all this technology, through these gadgets and all. But because I failed to use it properly, I fell into Maya, right? So I heard from my spiritual master. He was talking about my Zoom classes, right? So when you are walking on the street or in a jungle path, your foot may be pierced by a thorn. To remove the thorn inside your foot, you may use another thorn to remove it. But if we are not careful, we will end up having two thorns in our foot, isn't it? Right? One thorn already entered your foot. To remove that thorn, you took another thorn. We are trying to remove it, which is very intelligent because you don't have a needle there. So what is the way to remove this thorn? You take another thorn and then remove it. That's wonderful. But if you're not careful, you'll end up having two thorns in your foot. More painful, double pain. Similarly, in this material world, everybody is on social media, or most people in this world, especially youth, are in social media. To catch them who are in social media, a devotee preacher also may enter social media. I mean, that's good. It's like taking thorn with another thorn. But if we are not careful, we'll have two thorns. So we'll be distracted. We'll be distracted by the social media itself. Social media is an example, but there are many other such examples. While living in this material world, you may have to deal with cash, you may have to deal with money, you may have to interact with the opposite gender, you may have to use technology, but use all of them with Krishna, with an intention to engage in Krishna's service. When that motive becomes impure, so somebody is associating with using money, somebody is interacting with money, handling money, but that has to be with a desire to serve Krishna. If the desire to serve Krishna is lacking, then that money can entangle us. Technology. If the desire to serve Krishna is lacking, technology can entangle us. If somebody is interacting with the opposite gender, if it is for service to Krishna, then it makes sense. But if it's for sense gratification, oh my God, so one has to be very careful. If it is for sense gratification, that will thoroughly distract us from bhakti. So the purpose matters. So we need to be careful. That's what Ajamil is trying to teach us. So now I shall disentangle myself from my material bondage in the form of the opposite gender. Being a most fallen soul, I was victimized by the illusory energy and have become like a dancing dog led around by a woman's hand. Now I shall give up all lusty desires and free myself from this illusion. I shall become a merciful, well wishing friend to all living entities and always absorb myself in Krishna consciousness. These are the resolutions of Ajamil. So we have seen some positive qualities in that Narada in his past life as a sadhaka that enabled him to get the grace of Bhaktivedanta sages. Later, he intensified his sadhana. He exhibited some more advanced qualities and intensified sadhana. He exhibited some qualities as a sadhaka to receive mercy from Bhaktivedanta sages. He exhibited more intense and determined qualities as a sadhaka to get the constant darshan of the Lord. Now, while doing sadhana, we may make some mistakes. Instead of getting disappointed or depressed, let us mm, try to uh, be determined and take some resolutions not to further increase our entanglement. From Ajamil's story, we learned this. We should not uh, be depressed. At the same time, we should be determined. We should take resolutions. Let me not go back to Maya. Yes, yesterday I was distracted by some unnecessary thoughts. Today, let me be determined in my chanting, in my reading. So there's always a new day. So better late than never. So if you have failed 10 times in the past, start one more time, 11th time. Don't get depressed. Don't get discouraged. Again, take resolution. Read these three verses of Ajamil we have just read now. Uh, there's a lot of instruction there. Let me not get entangled by Maya again. So with these few qualities of a sadhaka, one more thing let me say. The worst thing that a sadhaka can do is justifying one's mistakes. If we happen to make a mistake, okay, let us be honest enough to admit it, apologize for it, rectify it instead of justifying it. So when there is justifying spirit, there is no possibility of rectifying the mistake. One who justifies the mistake cannot rectify the mistake. If you know that you have made a mistake, admit it honestly and try to rectify it. If you justify it, we cannot rectify it. Right? Mind gives justification. Maya influences the mind and makes you justify the mistakes that you have made and say that the mistake is bona fide. Of course, you did under these circumstances. Nothing, no problem in it. Go ahead, do it. Right? So that justification tendency will destroy our inspiration to become serious in bhakti. When we justify our mistakes, we can't admit the mistake, we cannot accept the mistake. When there is no acceptance only, where is the possibility of rectification or regretting? Prabhupada writes in the first canto, 18th chapter, that all the mm, reactions to one's sinful activities are burnt in the fire of honest repentance. You see, all the reactions to one's sins are burnt in the fire of honest repentance. But when we justify our mistakes, we cannot honestly repent only. Honest repentance and justification of mistakes will go ill together. When there is a justifying purpose, where is a possibility of regret? So admit and regret. Then you can rectify. You will not repeat that. Then let us advance in bhakti. So I am saying all these things to remind myself as a sadhaka. I am also a struggling sadhaka. I am not a siddha, or I am also struggling to do my uh, sadhana, and I need blessings of all the devotees. So many devotees here from so many temples present here in this Zoom call. My humble obeisances to all of you. I sincerely beg for your blessings and good wishes and prayers so that I just don't speak on the qualities of a sadhaka. I also imbibe those qualities and not get distracted in my sadhana, not become proud in my sadhana, not become deviated from this wonderful gift of Krishna consciousness path given to all of us by Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara. So, seeking your blessings, and also please forgive me if I made any mistakes in making this presentation. I see so many senior Vaishnavas are sitting here. Thank you so much for asking me to speak on this topic. I feel that you have made a great uh, favor to me by making me speak on this topic so that I meditate on where I'm lacking. I kind of recommit myself to the path of bhakti, to the path of sadhana, so that I don't get distracted. So I'm very grateful to all the devotees, Arvind Madhav Prabhu, Rambhadra Prabhu, and many other senior managers and many other devotees are here. So my humble obeisances to all of you. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.